Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today, I'm going to be doing my review of the biblical adventure figure Jesus Christ Crucifixion by D13 Toys. Now, there's a whole line of these figures, so there are a couple of different versions of Jesus that are part of this line. There's also other biblical characters as well, such as John the Baptist, Lucifer and Michael, the High Priest, the Tabernacle, and other such figures. If you're interested in this line of figures, go ahead and check some of those out. Now, I'm going to do my best to be respectful of this figure due to the nature of him and the belief structure around him. I am a believer myself, so this figure actually does have some meaning to me as well. So, with all that being said, first off, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for anybody who likes this review, then I please ask that you also subscribe and check out some of my other playlists as well. So, with that being said, without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here he is in packaging. I do like the packaging for this. So obviously it's set up like the Bible. So you have biblical adventures here. I guess this is book 4, so there must be a series of different figures a part of this line. Like I said, they do have other Jesus figures, so maybe that's what that's about. So you open this up. On this side, you have a nice picture of Jesus with the angels around him, demons underneath. Bring it around here. This is a little bit of something about why the creator created this line and a little bit of backstory to it, which is pretty nice. You open this up. You get your window here with Jesus and his accessories. And over here, you have the English. I believe this is probably Latin. And then this is an Arabic. Just a little summary of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, which is pretty nice. I do like how they added that in. All right, close that up. Bring it around this way. All right, you have Biblical Adventures, Jesus, Crucifixion, D13 Toys logo. Spinning around to the back. Not a lot going on here. You know, the D13 logo, Biblical Adventures. And like I said, this is set up like a book, so this is like the side of the book. All right, turn it around this way. You have Jesus, Crucifixion. And then underneath, you got your legal and choking hazards and what have you. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. All right, so here he is out of packaging. Now, we're going to start this figure off without his robes on. We're going to have him in, I guess this would be the loincloth that they had him in during crucifixion. And the reason why we're doing that is it's going to be a better way to show his points of articulation and also to find details of this figure. So first off, we are going to start off with the points of articulation. So his head does move. So you get head movement in here. You do have a shoulder joint with a swivel. You have an elbow joint. And you do have a wrist joint. All right, we get this other arm up. Oops. All right. You do have a joint right here underneath the ribs. All right. And you also have a hip joint. All right, spin them around this way. Let's move this around a little bit. You do have a thigh joint with a swivel. All right. You also have a knee joint and an ankle joint. All right. So now that we've gone through all his points of articulation, let's start looking into some of his finer details. Now, first off, let's start with the head sculpt. So it's a really nice head sculpt. It does have that traditional Jesus look to it. All right. Me personally, and I'm not trying to be morbid, with the crown of thorns, I probably would have liked to have at least seen some sort of blood on the top of his brow, indicating the pain and suffering that goes with having the crown of thorns on his head. If you look across his body, they do give his body a wash to give him a dirty look. All right, bring it around this way. He does have the stab wound underneath the ribs from the centurion. All right, bring him around this way. Let's bring these arms down. All right, one arm, two arms. All right, you can still see more of that dirt and detail in the figure. Bring him around here. You have this hole here that's going to be part of what's going to hook him up to the cross. Right. And back around to the front. So overall, he is a pretty decent looking figure. I don't have any issues with the way he looks. All right, so now we're going to get into all his different accessories. So there's a lot of stuff here for this figure. So first off, he comes with an alternate head. All right, so this is his head with his eyes closed. All right. He comes with a bunch of hands. So he has two open hands. All right, one and two. All right. He has two closed fists. One and two. All right. He has two holding hands. All right, so you got that one there. And this one here. All right. And he has his two crucifixion hands. So he has this one here. All right. And this one here. Okay. He has a couple of different feet. So first off, he has the feet that are designed to be on the cross. All right. And he has two sandal feet. He has this one here. All right. And then this one here. All right. Now, there are alternate hands and feet. So, like I said earlier, there are multiple Jesus Christ figures in this wave. So, this comes with hands and feet for those different figures. So, they too can also be crucified. So, they have the more lighter, dark skin hands here. All right. All right. They also have your dark skin or black skin hands as well. All right. They also have the alternate feet as well. So you would have, the lighter, well, yeah, the mid color feet, I guess you would call it. And then you'll also have the darker feet. And like I said, those are for your other Jesus action figures. So if you got one of the other colors, they can actually be used on the cross as well. So now we're going to get into his outfits. So he has a more dirty looking outfit. All right. And that's, obviously pre-cross. And it has a little tie up here. And then you have the white cloth, which is supposed to represent after the crucifixion and his rise. All right. He also has the cross, which comes in two pieces. So you have this piece here. And you also have the top piece. Mm-hmm. You also have the placard that they did put above his name, written in the three languages. Right. You also have the purple robes that the Roman soldiers put over him to mock him. And also, some people traditionally like to drape over the cross after the resurrection um, on Easter. Okay. Now, you have two ropes here. I think these are designed to be tied around his arms because some of the more traditional versions of him is that, as you see with this figure, the holes are in his palms, not in his wrists, which it's coming out more and more that in his wrists were more than likely where he was hung by, because the wrists are stronger and he can hold up the body weight better than the palms. If you put a spike through a palm, it's going to just rip through. But once again, this is a more traditional version of Jesus. I personally would have preferred him in the wrists, but that's just my personal preference. You got this piece here, which I believe is so it can go into his back. I believe this is the piece that goes into his back. All right. You got the mound for the cross. All right. And then you also have this nice little display stand. So if you don't want him on the cross, you can actually display him standing up. So with all that being said, now we're going to go through all his different accessories. Now, for the majority of this, up to the cross, we're going to keep them like this because it's going to be a lot easier to demonstrate a lot of his different points of articulation and how things go on and off on them. So first, let's swap the heads out. In fact, we lose that. All right, put this other head on. All right. So the closed eyes head works fine on them. No issues. Let's try some of these other hands. Right, that came off pretty easily. Give them a closed fist. Then the other hand here. Take that off. We're going to give them an open hand. All right. So the closed fist and open hand works fine with him. No issues with any of those. All right. Now you're going to have your two holding hands. We'll just put one here. And this one here. All right. So there's two. Trying to be respectful here. The two open hands fit fine on them. No issues with either of them. Now we're going to try the sandal feet. All right. Took a minute to work that off. All right. All right. So both of those are off. All right. So the feet are a little tight. All right. So you got to work them a little bit, definitely. You may even want to use some hot water on him. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, hold on a second. All right, so now I got the bowl of hot water out here. I got his feet sitting in there. Now, for any of you who are watching this who aren't real big action figure fans, but you did pick him up, sometimes with action figures, you have to warm up like the joints, whether it be feet, hands, or heads, so they go on a lot easier. What it does is it softens up the plastic so that it goes together easier. Plus, it also helps prevent breaking joints, because I've had that happen to me on figures to where you try to force like a foot on or a head or something, or try to force it off and it breaks. So the last thing you want to do is, break the feet of Jesus. So All right, that's been sitting there. Now I got it. Hot, hot, hot. Damn, nature. Hot, hot, hot. Ow. Damn, that's hot. Ooh. Okay. So now that I've done that, these feet should actually slide on pretty easily. All right. So there we go. There's one foot. And now here's the second foot. All right. So now, as you can see, the sandal feet fit fine on him with no issues. Okay. Matter of fact, I won't put his bare feet back in. I'm not going to probably put those back on. So now that we've gone through everything that connects to him, we're going to start putting the cross together. Now, the cross does come in two pieces. So you have this piece. Now, some people will leave this piece like this because depends upon what you believe during the crucifixion. Some people believe that when he walked with his cross, he only carried the mass. He didn't carry the full cross. So if you're going to do maybe the stages of the cross or something like that, some people may just want the mass, okay? Or other peoples will use the full cross. So I do want to, mention that real quick because there's a lot of variance in, different belief structures. So I'm trying to be respectful to any and all. So you got the top part as well. Put the cross together like this. Holy sh! All right. There it goes. All right. So now the cross is together. No issues. All right. You got your little plaque here. All right. That hangs up on there like that. No issues. Now you have your base. All right. So that works in there just like that. Put Jesus over here. We'll put him over here for right now. All right. So now you got your cross. All right. Now I believe this piece fits in here because it goes into his back. Or matter of fact, maybe I'll just put it on his back. Because when you look on the back here, got this plug. Goes this way. And that will help him stay on the cross. All right. And then let's get these feet off. All right. And we're going to now put on his crucifixion feet. There's one. There's two. Oops. I need to get those. There it goes. All right. So those feet are now on. We're also going to put on the crucifixion hands. All right. Now let's stretch them out. Okay. So now it all should hook together pretty easily. So that there goes the legs. Trying to figure out how to best put him on here. All right. There's the back piece. All right, you gotta bend the legs up a little bit. All right. So now you got the legs. All right. Oops. All right. We lost a hand. All right. So it's a little bit of a bear trying to line everything up. All right. All right, there's that hand. Yeah. All right, you lost a hand. We gotta get this other hand back on here. There it goes. All right. So what I'm having an issue here is just getting everything to line up how it should. You know, I hate to say it, I might have to actually put these hands in some hot water as well. All right, just to get them to. Yeah, we're going to put these hands in hot water for half a minute. Because what's happening is these pegs don't want to go into the holes. All right. So give them half a second. But as for the cross itself, it mounts pretty well. I don't have any issues with that. All right, now let's see. Yeah, that softened these hands up a little bit. Yeah, see, that goes in there a lot easier now. All right, so there's one. All right, now it's going in there too easy. All right. So you are going to need to probably rope them up. Okay, so I had to put the hands on off screen. And what I wanted up ultimately doing is putting the hands on first. So I would spin them around until they like really work into the holes. And then I connected the wrist on. And then as you see, I put the ropes around his wrists, how it's the traditional way of him being on the cross looks. So overall, he looks pretty well on this cross. Let's give him the rotation so you can get the full effect. All right. And back around. So all that works really well with him. And, you know, it looks how it traditionally should look. So now we're going to look at him with the robes. So we're going to just take these off here. Just like that. Pull him off of there. That. Okay. We'll swap out his feet for the sandal feet again. All right. Where are the sandals? All right. The other sandal, there it is. Now, for any of you who are going to be displaying this as an Easter display, like if you're going to do him like on the cross before Easter and off the cross after, like I said, you can take your purple shawl here. All right. You could drape that over here like this. So now you have the traditional after Easter look of Jesus defeating the cross. All right. So now let's get into these robes. We're going to give him his open hands. 1, 2. Is that the right hand? No. All right. We're actually going to give him. Well, actually, that has to stay off to put the robes on. So we're going to first put his dirty robes on. All right. Now, with these robes, I kind of wish they might have put a slit or something in the back of them to make them easier to go on and off. You know, like if you see like a lot of like dolls and stuff that have like robes like this, it's just easier to put the robes on if you have like just a little slit in the back with some Velcro. All right. So there's that. All right. Let's get head on and his little stand here. All right. So there he is with the dirty robes on. Once again, this is before crucifixion. So his robes are dirty, beaten, and battered. before he is put up onto the cross. And now you got your resurrection robes. Take his head off again. Move these arms up. This robe off. Take this off of him. All right. Get the white robes. Get that head on there. Got like this belt piece here, or sash. Goes right across here. Just tie a knot on it. All right, so now you have the afterwards robe, which is the standard white, which fits on him very well. So all his accessories really work well with this figure. Okay, so let's get into my final thoughts with this figure. First off, all the joints work very well. I had no issues with any of his joints. His head and hands swapped out very easily. Had no issues with them. Now the feet, I did have to use hot water to get the feet on, his sandal feet, which is no big deal. That's pretty much standard nowadays with your more modern action figures, that sometimes you do have to use heat to get joints on and off. So, that's not a big deal. His robes went on him pretty well. I didn't have any issues with any of his robes. As for the cross went together pretty easily. I had no issues with that. Putting him on the cross was not that big of a challenge. The only thing that was the hands. I had to work them off screen, but once the hands are on, he does hang there pretty good. I don't have any issues with that. So all that worked very well. No issues there. And also he does come with the alternate hands for darker skin complexions, because there are also variant versions of him in this line. This Jesus here is the more traditional one, but they do also have the other variations as well. Now, I do have a couple minor issues, and these are more personal issues. They're not really a knock against the figure. First off, I would have liked him to have the open palm hands with the holes in it, because after he defeats the cross, he shows up with the holes in his palms. So I would have liked to have seen that to go with him to complete the cycle. Two, me personally, I would like the holes in his wrists. That's the more updated and modern version, and it also makes more sense. But once again, this is the more traditional Jesus, so they stuck with the holes in the palm of his hands. Uh, Secondly, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of blood around the crown of thorns. Once again, to indicate the suffering that he went through for our sins. The same with his back. I would have liked to have seen some whip marks or some damage on his back. You don't have to go full Passion under the Christ on him, but just something to indicate his suffering that he did for us. So those are the few things that I would have liked to have seen different with him. But the real question is, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. I think he's a really well done figure. I do feel like they did give him the respect that he deserves and what have you. And that's for any religious action figure or something. There should be a level of respect for any kind of that type of figure that you do, whether it be Christian, Muslim, or whatever, other form of religious icons. It should always be done with respect. So I do feel like they really did that. Now, me personally, I feel like this is more of an Easter figure. So, you would mainly probably display him during Easter time. Maybe you'll do the stages of the cross, have him on the cross, and then, remove him after Easter, showing that he has defeated the cross and what have you. So he would definitely be a good Easter piece to go with your other Easter decorations and what have you. So with that being said, I hope you guys did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my biblical pet playlist and check out some of my other playlists. I got some really cool action figure playlists and what have you. And hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.